Hi everybody, Scott here. I thought I would just explain our intro video. This is an ice carousel that was created by some of our neighbors. And we've got some footage here. This was a couple weeks ago. They carve out a circle of ice and you can get it rotating. And so all the folks that you're seeing on the screen now are standing on the circle of ice that's rotating on the water within the kind of on the edge of the lake by our house. Coming up here in a second, you'll see footage of the actual space between where the ice is carved out. So we'll be starting the episode in just a minute. One more note before we begin. The audio for our episode is a little off. I think my microphone is broken. We'll have it fixed for the next episode. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
I'm Scott.
I'm John.
And we're married.
Look at that.
You don't have to add that.
I like it, though. Makes me happy.
You're violating the rules and the bylaws of the podcast.
Oops.
By adding things.
Ha. I didn't realize that was a bylaw.
So it's been a bit
since
we've podcast.
Welcome to 2021.
Welcome to 2021. We're doing well. I needed to take a break. I started a new job, and so, well, not a new job, but I got promoted. I think I talked about that before. I became the manager of my team. And that, combined with a bunch of other stuff, has really kind of thrown me for a loop. And I think I've talked about this a little bit before, but in the goal of normalizing mental health issues, I suffer from an anxiety disorder, and it is very physically painful and physically exhausting on top of all the mental stuff. So I had to get myself back on track. I think I alluded to that the last podcast that we made. But I'm doing so much better than I was, and I attribute a lot of that to being in therapy and medication that I take, and then just taking care of myself. So,
I mean, it's not all me, but it's mostly me. No,
John does help quite a bit.
I helped. I mean, we all have our struggles, so I'm just glad that you know what to do, and when you need to, you just do it.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's important, is kind of knowing what your particular challenges are, and being able to take the action you need to address them.
Yeah. Because luckily we live in a time where there's not as many taboos or
stigma. I mean, there's still a big stigma around mental health, especially with men,
right? But
a lot less than there used to be.
Yeah, and luckily I work for a healthcare organization. It actually, kind of the bout that I've been going through lately did not affect my ability to work, which is kind of the first time that I've had as much trouble as I had this time and have it not affect my work. It just mainly kind of affected my ability to do things like podcast or
right.
Enjoy life in general. But I kind of view it as any chronic illness, and I don't have other chronic illnesses, so I hate to say, well, this X is like Z or A is like B, but it's like an autoimmune disease or diabetes or
right, you have to take care of yourself.
Chronic illness, I have to take care of myself, and that's kind of how I view it as it's my struggle, and Just got to get back up on the horse and recognize what it is that kind of contributes to exacerbations or, I guess, relapses, if you will, of the severest symptoms. So I am doing much better.
Yes, you are. And I don't think it helps either that it is been January, and I think like everyone else, we're still pretty not as intense as it used to be, but still things are pretty much closed. We've been sort of just hanging out in our house. And so like yesterday we went out, we live right near a lake, which is of course frozen like super solid. And we just went out and we took our dog and we met some neighbors and we sort of hung out.
We stood in the middle of a lake and talked and
and
had some adult beverages. And
that is extremely helpful, and it's just a little harder to do these days.
Yeah, it was so funny because we were about out there for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And John finally turns to me and he's like, Scott, I can't feel my toes anymore. We have to go. So we're literally standing on a frozen lake. It was probably about 15, 20 degrees.
Yeah, which has been balmy. It's also been to make things a little. It has been polar vortex mixed with heat miser hell and stuff like that. It's just been really cold here. So
heat miser hell.
Cold miser hell? I don't know. Isn't that like from that?
Yeah, I think you're
whatever.
mixing things up.
We can cut that if we want to.
No,
but it's been very cold here in Minnesota. But
nothing compared to what I think some other parts of the country are going through, because I've been talking to people like through work and stuff like that live in other parts of the country, and of course Texas is getting a lot of press, but I know that people in Oklahoma and other parts of the country have been having it really rough with lots of snow and lots of cold weather. We're lucky in that our state has the infrastructure, and our houses are built in such a way that they can withstand that. We did have a stretch of a couple weeks, I think it was, where it didn't get above zero at all, and that's 0 Fahrenheit, so that's like negative
something Celsius,
15 Celsius or something.
Sure.
I don't know, but I think negative, and it doesn't matter. But that temperature we can handle. It's just that it doesn't normally go for 2 weeks without getting above zero at all.
Yeah. We broke a record, or came close to breaking a record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that, I mean, so it was just annoying. It wasn't like we didn't have pipes burst or infrastructure shut down or power go out, or because like I said, our infrastructure, we get that all the time, so we're prepared for it. But, but it's not.
Yeah, having grown up in the South, where if you get, an inch of snow, things shut down because you don't have snow plows.
Plows. You don't have. You're not used to. People aren't used to driving in it.
Yeah.
I just discovered that we don't normally podcast when it's sunny outside.
Mm-hmm.
So we're podcasting a little earlier on Sunday than we would typically. Mm-hmm. And so my eye is drawn to our neighbor's backyard because I can see it out the side door, and I can see the dog playing in the backyard. So I have to remember to look at the camera and
not Marco.
Not Marco in the backyard. But so anyway, like John was saying, we went out. We were like, oh my God, it's going to be 20, which is still 12 degrees below water freezing, freezing. So, but we were like, yay, let's go out and hang out. And it was funny because we were all so desperate to get out and see other people. And so we got home and it was like we were talking funny because our lips were numb, but we were so happy to be outside, and because in December, when the days are the shortest, the sun goes down at about
4:15.
Yeah, 4:15.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't come up again until 7:30ish in the morning. So that's a pretty long. That's what is that? 15 hours or so of nighttime. So it gets to be a little depressing. But we each have our little happy lights, those full spectrum lamps that we put on in the morning when it's still dark outside, but we're starting work, and that helps a lot. So so we're kind of taking a fresh start. It's because it's been quite a while. I have no idea what we talked about last time.
Yeah, so I don't think I'm going to repeat myself, but in case I present a project that I've already presented, just bear with me, and if you are like, I've seen this, just, fast forward.
Blip, blip. Yep.
But I think...
And then I've got a couple subscriptions. I haven't really bought any yarn from like a store or anything, but I have a couple subscriptions with Trilogy Yarns, so I've got some stuff to show there. You've got some stuff to show.
Yep.
We've got a couple projects that we've started. We're working on the same project.
Right.
Although we've talked about that before because we talked about the yarn that we picked and stuff, but I don't think we've had an episode where we've actually started.
No, because I cast that on over New Year's.
Right.
And the last time we podcast was either before or right after Christmas.
Right.
So, and we have an Angela Lansbury update about a movie that we saw like 2 months ago, so bear with us on that.
Yeah, actually it was...
Yeah, it was over New Year's.
Yeah, so that would have been like 7 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It feels like... Well, it's 2 months since we podcasted.
Right. It feels like a whole different world.
Yeah. So...
There's a Betty Ann update from your...
from my travels with Betty Ann.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, so...
We got a bit on the plate, but...
Yeah, I don't have as much knitting, unfortunately, when I'm not feeling good. You would think that knitting would be something that would bring me joy, but since nothing brings me joy when I'm kind of not feeling well,
right.
I didn't get a lot of knitting done. But that's okay. I've got some stuff to show anyway.
Exactly.
So do you want us...
I'll start.
Okay.
What do you want? I
only have the project that we're both doing and then one other project. That's all I have.
So I have a finished object, I think. This might be the repeat.
Well, you know that it's a finished object.
I know it's a finished object.
Think it's a finished object.
It's a finished object that I think is new to our new to the podcast, but perhaps not. And I don't have it with me, so it's going to be a little bit of a summary. So I'll just jump in with, and I've got 3 works in progress.
Good Lord. I'm really falling behind. I'm trying to focus on that one big project.
Yeah.
And I am just coming back into my joy of knitting. So
I'll start with my first and only finished object. So I think we had mentioned we're doing hats for our neighbors.
And you're gonna give me a picture.
Yes,
of your Instagram.
There's a picture of both the hat and the person wearing it, which is kind of fun.
Oh, that's right, because I talked about how pretty she is, and we just show her off.
Oh. So I knit the April hat by Kellborn Woolens.
Look at you.
I know. Well, I looked it up before we started. I'm like, because I wasn't sure when I'd finished it. And it is a tam, which is really kind of fun because you have like a little brim.
It's a brim.
Is it?
The little
cabling, and then it goes out.
Not cabling.
Rib.
Yeah.
And then it goes out, and then it goes in. So it's like a different shape than usual.
Well, it's kind of like a beret with extra, right?
It's like a mushroom.
It's like a flat beret.
No, it's like a rounder beret.
Okay, I guess I don't know what. I've never seen a beret in person, I guess.
Yeah. So anyway, the other thing that was really fun about it is it had a lot of...
It's a poofier beret.
It's a poofy beret. That's actually a good way to put it.
Okay.
A beret poof. So it had all this sort of detail work. I knitted in Malabrigo.
I'm sorry.
Rios.
I'm going to be...
Go ahead, babe.
I'm just like I get to look at. I love this sweater, and I get to look at. I've never looked at the details kind of up close.
Yeah,
so, which is a sweater that John made.
Yeah. Also, I get to wear the sweater, which I think one of the things about working from home all the time is. So the fact that we're wearing like clothes and not just sweatpants and sweatshirts and whatever is also kind of nice too.
Yeah.
So it's like dressing up to watch TV.
Right. Dressing up to sit at our island and talk to our phone.
Exactly. Hello, phone. So anyway, it was the Kellborn Woolen April hat, and it had a lot of these. You had to sort of create these flowers, this flower pattern, and you did it using kind of a crochet hook and pulling stitches through, and then doing a lot of poof stitches. Puff stitches?
How's it spelled?
Puff?
Oh, well,
Puff?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
I didn't knit it. So.
I didn't. It's been so long. I don't remember. Yeah. Anyway, it turned out really, really well. I was really happy with it. Amanda looks great in it. So yeah, I made a little pom-pom too, which was always fun.
You have a lot more luck with pom-poms than I do.
I don't have luck with pom-poms. I just sort of... I feel like they're never quite what I want them to be, but,
Because my pom-pom... Like, I made... The only pom-poms I've made were for socks for Betty Ann to go on the back of the socks.
Right.
And it felt like they kind of fell apart. Like, I didn't tie them tight enough or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they're still weird. I have to... Like, I don't do them very often, so every time I do them, I have to do a tutorial.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm really happy with the hat, and yeah. If you ever want to knit a kind of crazy fun hat with crazy, it was very much a stretch in terms of like stuff that I'm not comfortable with. So it was a lot of using a crochet hook and a lot of doing. I can't
believe you're cabling while you're talking.
I know.
My head would explode.
Well, we can talk about, when I talk about this project, I'll talk about why that's okay.
Okay.
And in fact, it's a... Anyway, whatever. Am
I distracting you?
A little bit. Now you made me like go all slow and scared. I'm like, oh no. But yeah, it was really fun. If you ever feel like... look at the hat. Look at the pattern.
Look at the hat!
Look at the hat! It's a free pattern, which is great too. It's also... knit in worsted, I think, so it goes pretty quickly. But yeah, look at it, and if like it's something you can think of someone, yourself or someone else who might like it, I think it's a really fun project.
Yeah.
I really have enjoyed that site. It was like the year of hats, and I think we've made
Woolen Folk,
Kelburn Woolens,
Kilborn Woolens,
Kelburn Woolens.
It'll be in the description.
Yeah.
The show notes
so it's just a variety of fun hats. So.
Oh, and I realized I'm drinking out of this giant wooden tankard.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you'd call it?
Sure.
And I didn't describe why. So one of the things that we've been doing to keep, or one of the things I've been doing to keep sane is I've started playing Pathfinder with some friends in the neighborhood over Zoom. So if you don't know, Pathfinder is like Dungeons and Dragons, and I don't exactly understand. I think it's like the previous version of Dungeons and Dragons, the previous version of the game. They bought the rights to it and expanded it and made it a different game, but it's basically identical, called Pathfinder. And so if you're, it's basic, well, for somebody who doesn't know what Dungeons and Dragons is, it's basically you've got someone who kind of guides you through a story, and the story takes twists and turns based on how the group of people that are playing the game make decisions and take certain actions based on their character. And so it's a role-playing game, but it's done basically by talking, and then to add some randomness to it, you have dice that you roll to find out if you did something well or didn't do something so well. So I think that was a pretty good description of what
I think so too. For someone who has never played Dungeons and Dragons, I think they might understand what that is.
Yeah. So it's a lot of it. One of the things that I'm learning is when I started playing. I'm sorry if you don't play. You've never heard of this and it's not interesting. I'll try to make this quick. But as someone who has never played it, I kind of approached it as a board game that you want to get through.
Right.
You want to get to the end.
Right.
Well, the game that we're playing is going to take 6 to 9 months to get all the way through the story that our forget what he's called, Game Master has created. So it's more about playing your character, and so I kept referring to the guy who's the game master. Oh, Greg is having us do this or whatever, but you have to like pretend you're in that world, and you're. And so anyway, I bought myself a big wooden tankard to get into character.
Our nephew Aaron plays Pathfinder too, so I'm going to go up and I'm going to Colorado in a few weeks to visit.
Tell me what 13-year-old boy Pathfinder is like compared to 30-something and 40-something-year-old people.
It'll be
Pathfinder.
Probably not that different. Probably a lot more like So when I played Dungeons & Dragons when I was 13, it was less about role playing and more about like fight.
Yeah.
So like, oh look, there's a dragon again.
Yeah.
Right. So, but yeah, I did it old school with paper and dice.
Yeah. Yeah, we're doing it all on computer. So anyway, so should I talk about my non... All right, so it's in my... Oh, Lord. Pet hair everywhere. It's in my Bearded Pearl bag, which is my new favorite bag to put socks in. I haven't been on his site in forever. So this is Caleb in Wisconsin. Or actually, Caleb and Justin.
Right.
Would they be Custon? Or Jaleb?
I like Jaleb.
Jaleb.
Mm-hmm.
The Bearded Pearl is their site, and it's... I haven't been on there in a while to see what kind of stuff he's got out there right now. But I am using yarn from Trilogy Yarns. And it is... Unfortunately, I don't have the ball band. Which every frickin' time I'm like, I'm going to keep the ball band in the bag, in the project bag, and then magically it jumps out and runs away.
Right. It is at least you know whose it's from.
Yes, I do know
maybe,
it's Trilogy. Well, and I know...
Maybe Nancy can identify it.
Well, it's... I mean, I can probably... I think it's probably... I don't know. It's from her Princess Bride sock yarn subscription. And so this is what I did so far. But I'm making these socks for my sister-in-law. And they're moving to Florida soon. And so I'm not making full-size socks. I'm making shorty socks. But I had her try them on. She has rather small feet, and so I thought, I'll go from... Since I use, for our socks, I use 3.5 millimeter needles, and I cast on 64 stitches.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, she's got much smaller feet, I'll cast on 60 stitches.
Was it too small?
Well, it wasn't... I mean, it fit, but it was like a struggle to get it on.
Oh, yeah, you don't want that.
So I'm going to go back to 64 stitches. And then... I also wasn't sure how long her foot was, and so, yeah. So I did this much, and then I had her try it on, and so now I'm starting over. But I think I've got this much started, which is not very much, but I've got that much started. I'm using the Rose City Rollers pattern, which I always use, except instead of letting it roll down, I'm doing a little cuff at the top. And then I'm using the contrasting color that came with the sock yarn, which is this beautiful blue, as the heels and probably the toes, I think. So, yeah. So that's, I haven't knit on that in quite a while because I've been focusing on the other project that I'm going to show, but that's, so I'll have more of that to show next time.
Oh my god, I'm having yarn chicken right now. All right, what am I working on? So this is a cowl. It'll be basically it's 2-peat. You sort of wrap it around, tie it together. A couple of things. The pattern is. I'll hold it up really quick. So the pattern is.
Hold it up while you
yeah,
do
just
that.
be careful about the stitches.
I'm not going to drop it.
Please don't. So the pattern is the Rio Calina Cowl. Let the river carry you. It's a design by Bordhi. And so I found this pattern. Bordhi is a kind of really big deal designer, and she died, I think, late last year.
Oh, I didn't know.
So I basically, when people were sort of talking about her on Instagram, they're like, oh my gosh, her stuff is amazing. And one of the things that they said is kind of in tribute of her, knit this pattern. And so I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. And what I like about it, it is basically it's a cowl and it's a cable. And what's fun about it, and I think one of the things that she was really into, is this idea of kind of improvisational knitting. So basically what it is 2x2 rib, and then
the whole thing is
2x2 rib.
Yeah.
And then when you feel like it, you cable. That's the design is, what does it say? Scatter cables impulsively. So yeah, just whenever I feel like cabling forward, cabling back, I
So do you have a set number of cables, or?
I mean, it's a set number of.
It's a set number of stitches.
Yeah.
But you could like just.
I could cable.
Is the number of stitches that create the cable the same?
Yeah, it's always the same. You take 4 stitches and cable. But yeah, it's kind of, it's a very interesting project. I'm used to knitting with a pretty strict pattern. And so just the idea of like, when you feel like it, cable, is a little crazy. So I'm really liking it.
It's like aleatoric knitting.
Right. Love it. So yeah, it's just kind of fun. And it's really different from my usual way of knitting stuff.
Yeah.
So
what yarn is that?
So the yarn is, and I have so it is this yarn, the Juniper Farm Moonshine Chunky.
Right. Juniper Moon
Farm. Moonshine Chunky. And it's a mix of baby alpaca, wool, and silk. So it's very, very cozy.
40% alpaca, 40% wool, and 20% silk.
Yeah.
It's 100 grams, 109 yards, or
yeah.
100 meters.
And that was something I picked up. I was at Alice and Harriet and Alice.
The colorway is Coyote Road.
Oh, nice. So literally, I just was at Harriet and Alice, right? Harriet and Alice, not Alice and Harriet.
No, it's Harriet and Alice.
Harriet and Alice. And it was by the counter, and I was like, I like this, so I picked it up. And so I think it's been a really fun project.
It's made in Peru.
Oh, lovely.
Knittingfever.com.
Huh.
Wonder if that's their website. I mean, that's the website that's on here, so I'll put all that information in the description.
So yeah, it is basically, so I'm going to basically knit, this is basically one skein's worth, because that's just ran out. And so I'll do the next skein, and then bind it together, and it'll be this kind of cool piece.
I like the way that she's got the picture because it looks like it's not a tube. It's like you fold it over and graft it together.
There's some crazy grafting thing I'll have to figure out when it gets done.
Fun.
So yeah.
Is it a paid for pattern or
no? It's free. It's free.
Cool. Okay.
So she has a whole, or she still does because obviously you can still buy her patterns. But she's a whole bunch of patterns, and this was one of the things that she was known for. This idea of, improvisational knitting, or she had a better word for it than that. But really kind of cool. And again, it's strange because, most of the time knitting is either you're doing like rows and rows of stockinette and I'm paying attention, or you've got a pretty focused pattern and it's kind of this in between. And, I don't know if you can say like, am I in a mood right now where I was cabling all the time or not? I don't know. It's a very, very cool pattern and very outside of what I'd normally do, but super fun.
Cool. So you'll use the Russian join, right?
I don't know.
Because that's all I ever do anymore now that...
I might just...
I don't remember who it was that put us on to the Russian join, but...
Yeah, I'll figure something out. So that's that work in progress. And then... Oh, I'll do my other hat. So, hat number 2. So there's another one for our neighbors, one of our neighbors. This is called, and I'm not going to pronounce it correctly, Puhalepa Hat pattern.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what language that is.
It's an Estonian.
Oh, then I don't know. I don't know anything about pronouncing Estonian.
Estonian. So it's from the island of Hiiumaa. Anyway, by Raina K.
Lots of repeated vowels there.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and it's one of those hats I've had we can show a picture of what it looks like. It's one of those hats I've had my eye on for a while to knit. And what it is it's a hat, and the colorwork pattern, I don't know if you'll be able to see it well, because it's just...
Yeah, what I'll do is, that's something that we'll want to take as a close-up of, and I'll put
But it has a bunch of flies, and I can show you...
It has flies.
Yes, flies. And let me see if I can find the... Anyway, this is making this for our neighbor Gems, who is by and far the coolest person on our block.
She's a DJ.
She's a DJ. She does she doesn't do them anymore, but she's done things like, DJ in the Skyway and stuff like that. So, but yeah, this one has been a bit of a delay because, I've been working on it since, I think, early January. I think I cast on over New Year's. And, it's color work, stranded color work. And I just need to sit down. Like yesterday, I sat down and did, I think, 8 rows. And I was like, I'm going to sit down 4 times a day and do 2 rows each time. And so that's just how I'm going to do it. So, but yeah, it'll be super fun. Hopefully it'll be worth show next time. And the wool is I don't know and I don't know. No, that's not true. The blue is Republica Unicornia. It is their
Starry Night.
Starry Night?
Is the
colorway.
Colorway.
It looks like this. Not the blue part, but this. And it is their BFL sock, so it is blue-faced, Leicester, and nylon.
75-25.
75-25. So, and then the other red...
Isn't that... Oh, God. I'm not...
Do you know what that is?
Yes, I do. I bought it, and it's... I'm never going to be able to remember it. She actually has watched our episodes before.
Okay.
She's the one that... Oh, gosh. It's like Lorna's Laces, I think, maybe?
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's Lorna's Laces.
Okay.
But
anyway, I think
could
it's...
be wrong.
So this is the color of the flies. So really liking it. It's a really fun pattern. It's going to be really awesome when it's done.
Yeah.
It's just taking a minute.
Yeah.
So.
Cool.
Awesome. All right. So those are the 2 works in progress.
Okay.
That you are not working on too.
That I am not also working on.
I believe that's what I said, but a little differently.
Is it time to talk about the sweater?
Yes.
The sweater we're both doing?
Yes.
All right, so we're both doing the Montrealer.
Mm-hmm. By Designs by Delz.
Designs by Delz. Several other YouTubers and non-YouTubers that we are friends with are also doing it. Some of them have already completed it.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of modifying the pattern a little bit, I think. I don't think we're I'm knitting it exactly the way the pattern's written.
Right. The only thing that I'm modifying is the colors a little bit.
Okay.
So.
All right. Maybe you can talk about that when we get to it. Okay. Let's hold it. All right. So is this the back? Yeah. This is the back. So
it's got neck shaping.
We both are using the same brand of yarn, but and so
we're
using tweed.
Yeah. It's an acrylic tweed, wool acrylic tweed.
Is there wool in it?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Keep talking.
And so we have different colors, but we are keeping, I don't know if you can see with Scott's, there's sort of an accent color in it.
Yeah.
And we're using the same orange accent color.
Right. But the 2 other colors obviously are different.
So I just finished binding.
Before you talk about that, so the wool is Lola by Master Knit, and we got it at a store in the Mall of America called
Knit and Crochet.
Knit and Crochet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 78% acrylic and 20% wool and 2% viscose.
Made in Turkey.
And it's made in Turkey. And it's Lola by Master Knit. It was not very expensive.
Yeah.
And it's machine washable, which
I was excited about it
because
my last 2 sweaters I did in superwash merino, and so there were some, fine obviously, but there was a little bit of angst and anxiety around the sizing. And so this is nice because I know that this is the size it's going to be when it's washed and stuff.
Right.
So, so yeah, I've made some good progress. I just bound off the bottom like this morning, and then I did. There's a
That's so cool.
Yeah,
I
there's
haven't
a
seen
pocket
that
on.
yet.
Yeah, I just did that, and there's a pocket in the front, and I used this orange yarn to do the pocket edge.
That's so cool. Yeah. So that's what you're doing. That's different. I'll do that too.
Yeah, and then I did the bind off with the orange too.
I'm gonna do that too.
Oh my god! So I did a tubular sewn bind off for this. I love how it looks. I like how it stretches.
Watching that tutorial, it was like my head exploded.
But it wasn't so bad. Like I've done it before.
It was a good tutorial, but
good tutorial. I've done it before. I've never done it with this. So you have to basically take.
Here's us having a dream.
Yes. So you basically take the instructions are you take 4 times the yarn length to sew it, and so basically you're like sewing like this, and you're pulling like so much yarn through.
Oh, because you have to cut the yarn.
Yeah, you have to cut the yarn and then and sew it, and just like, and it's it's acrylic, so I don't know if I could. I guess I could have done magic knot. I don't know if a Russian join would have worked as well. It was fine.
I've been Russian joining this, and it works great.
Okay.
Yeah, whenever I have this problem where there are little elves in the house that come along and chew the yarn and break it every once in a while, even though I think I've got it safe in my knitting bag.
Yes.
Oops, I dropped some stitches. Little monsters, little white furry monsters named Linus and Junior.
Yes. They do like their yarn.
So I have, I've done a couple Russian joins with it, and it works. It actually, it works great.
Cool.
So
anyway, I am to the point. I'm sorry, it's front ways. So I need to do the second side of the pocket in the orange, and then go to the sleeves, which will be fun. And then there's a hoodie, and I'm gonna do the hood. So, this is what I cast this on over New Year's. So, and I've worked it pretty regularly. So, I'm excited. I tried it on after I did the bind off, and it fits, so that's exciting.
Yeah, it looks really good on you, especially because it doesn't have too much positive ease.
Right.
It fits well, but it's not tight.
Right, and it's something I can wear, over a shirt or something like that. So I'm excited about that. So the one thing is that, it has got the speckles and stuff like that, which I think is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Although it makes it look like it's dirty.
The tweed.
The tweed.
Well, no, it doesn't look like it's dirty.
I don't know. I feel like it, or maybe it can disguise the fact that it's dirty, which is actually okay.
No, it doesn't look dirty. It looks like it's tweed.
Okay. Well, good. So anyway, it's been fun because, again, we're working on it together, and then a bunch of other friends are working on it, and so, the colors are very different. I really like this blue and white. And then, it's just been fun.
Yeah. Awesome.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so we're working our way through that. And obviously, I'm still working my way down the body.
Right.
So I've got the stitch. I just passed the top of the pocket, top of the front pocket, so.
Yeah. And the pattern is really well written. So, I don't know. I think it'd be one of those things, like, it'd make a really cute baby sweater.
Oh God, it really would. I think I might have to make one for
Santiago.
Well, I wonder what the sizings are. I don't know what size
whether they have an infant size.
I don't think he does.
Okay.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
But I'm not advanced enough yet to be able to modify it.
No, not for something that is this complicated. It's not like a top-down. It is a top-down raglan, but it's got a lot of other stuff.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's been fun. I'm, feeling good about that. I'll be on, as people call it, Sleeve Island for a bit. One of our friends, Lucy, she is doing 2 at a time sleeves. I think.
How does that work?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's the same thing like 2 at a time socks, but you just are working in the 2 sleeves at the same time.
She's probably doing 2 at a time sleeves like simultaneously. Like she'll do an inch and then she'll do an inch.
Really?
Well, you can't do them on the same needle.
You can do 2 socks on the same needle.
Yeah, but they're not connected. I have no idea.
Don't know.
I'm not talking, I'm talking out of my butt.
Yeah, no, as am I. And maybe I misunderstood her post. So if that's possible, I'd be curious. I tried doing 2 at a time magic loop socks, and it made me want to kill.
Yeah, I don't like doing it that way either.
So I'm sure once you get it set up correctly, it's magical, and I don't like doing magic loop anyway.
Right. I prefer not to do magic loop as well. I mean, it's a great technique for when you need it, but I don't.
Yeah.
I'd prefer to knit in the round or even knit flat for that matter. But I think it's really good for people to get stuck with second sock syndrome.
Yes.
Where they knit a sock and then they never knit the second sock. I don't have that problem. So
yeah.
I just grab my 9-inch circulars and go. So
speaking of sock knitting. So we've talked about this before. I am on the board of the Twin Cities Gay Men's Chorus, and right. Scott is a singer in the Twin Cities Gay Men's Chorus, and we have a fundraiser coming up called Sing It Forward, and there's a program on the 6th which you can put a link to, but there's also a silent auction, and one of the prizes in the silent auction is Scott and I will knit custom socks for whoever.
Each of us will knit a pair.
Yeah.
Right?
We're going to each do a pair. I don't know if it's going to be, you can get, they're still figuring out, like at this point, I think you would get 2 pair of socks knitted for you.
Oh, so you're bidding on both.
Yeah.
One from me and one from you?
Yeah.
Anyway,
we're going to work on that. It'll be
a
clear.
Silent auction.
So anyway, we'll put a link to the silent auction there. You can register for it, and then the auction opens on the 1st of March. But if you want to make me knit socks for you.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm going to knit them both. I just know it.
No. I will.
That's fine.
Yeah. So anyway, that could be a fun thing, and it would,
Oh, and the thing that's nice is that we can have the person like measure their foot.
Yeah. And the plan is, what we'll do is we will kind of like take you into our stash, pick out a style of sock. I mean, we're not going to do anything super elaborate because we don't want to do something that we're not comfortable doing for a knit for someone else.
It'll be a vanilla sock.
It'll be a vanilla sock, maybe with a cable in it, like the cabin socks I knit you. I might do those again.
Mine won't be.
Mine might be, because I like DK socks. I might push whoever gets me towards DK.
Because mine could be a vanilla sock with contrasting heels, toes, and cuffs.
Yeah.
Like calf length, and then yours can be the cabin socks with the cable.
Yeah, and it'll probably use one of the Trilogy Yarns we have.
Yeah.
I like that. So her DK, speaking of which, is, because we got that DK, I've got a lot of DK from her, and it is MCN, I think.
Yeah, her plush base.
Yeah, her plush base. And I think that would be great for socks because it'd be stronger than whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, there'll be a link in the show notes. So yeah, if you're interested in doing that. And there's also, like our concert, there's a little sort of fundraiser program on YouTube on the 6th that you get to see me talk in.
They're watching you talk right now, dear.
I know, but it's...
But you get to be like, I'm Mr. Board Chair.
It's something very different about, like, I'm giving a speech. So, anyhow.
Cool. All right, well, let's talk about acquisitions.
Okay. Yay.
So, I am subscribed. I have purchased a couple subscriptions from Trilogy Yarns. One is the... her Princess Bride sock yarn, and then the other is her, I'm gonna say it wrong, but it's like her happy hour.
Right.
That's what
Happy Hour Club, right?
Happy Hour Club, yeah. And so I've shown in the past several of the Princess Bride ones. I don't remember the last one I showed, but I don't think I've shown this one. So this one is Shrieking Eels. I just noticed it has purple in it. I haven't taken it out of the bag yet, so it's really awesome.
I like the the two. I like the contrasting
Yeah,
heel and
and
toe
it's-
with that a lot.
Yeah, but I just noticed it's got gold. I
Yeah.
love these colors, but it's yeah. So it's her 80% merino, 20% nylon sock yarn base, and it's what am I trying to say? It's Shrieking Eels is the colorway. I don't know if I said that. So
where's she from?
she's from Spokane.
I know it says on the label.
I know.
We should always, like, before we talk about Nancy, we should always look at the label first so we get it right.
Yeah, thanks, John.
I love you, babe.
Whatever. Okay, so then these are two of the I think these are the only two I've gotten. Because I think I'm about to get the third, and it's a 3-month subscription, then you can re-up. So this is Blueberry Tea. I think I might have shown this
Yeah,
one
I think so
before.
too. I really like that
But it's
color.
on her plush base, which is MCN, Merino Cashmere Nylon, 80-10-10. And it's fingering. For some reason, I was thinking it was a different weight. But anyway, it doesn't matter. But this I love this.
Yeah.
And she includes a recipe, and I need to make these.
Oh, yeah.
But she includes a recipe for the corresponding cocktail to go with it. So this is blueberry tea, which is adult tea, not
Right.
regular tea. And then this one is Chambord Royale.
Fun.
I can find the...
Oh, that's pretty.
Royale. Isn't that cool? Yeah. So, and of course it's amazing because it's got that cashmere in it. Yeah. So I'm loving, of course, she has amazing yarn and amazing colorways, so I'm really enjoying these clubs.
Yeah.
So.
All right, I've got a couple of things. I'll go with this first. So the other day I was at work and I was also on Instagram, which is always dangerous.
You weren't at work.
I was working.
You were in the other room.
I was working. And I found this knitter. Her name's Naima Bond, and her yarn is Sister Ananse yarn. I just really, really liked it a lot. So this is, it's called Memory.
It's the colorway.
The colorway is, it's fingering, it's 75% merino yarn, merino wool. So you know it's a local, it's a small dyer because the label is handwritten. 75% merino wool and 25% nylon. It's fingering weight. And I don't know. I loved this color.
Yeah, that's super cool.
I might even think about making socks for myself out of it. So I really, really
Do I
liked
get
it.
to hear you complain the whole time?
Of course. What would be the fun in not doing that? So I really, really liked that. And the other one, which is completely different, it's called Mushrooms and Roses. It's DK. It is 85% merino and 15% acrylic neps.
Acrylic neps. I
Which-
think we're reading that right. I've never
Yeah.
heard what. Oh,
These little
that's
the tweed,
bits.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I love this. It reminds me of like a rag doll or something like that, but not a rag doll, like in Raggedy Ann and stuff like that. Anyway, whatever.
You're weird.
You're weird.
It makes me think of like harvest colors
Oh, okay,
with neon.
sure. You say potato, I say
Ragdoll.
ragdoll. But I really like it. I like the pink, and I'm curious to see like what this would look like knit up.
What color is that?
Orange-ish red. It's like a harvest.
You said that because I said that.
You know what?
What's that?
Green.
Okay.
Context clues are also important clues. So anyway,
Do you have something in mind for that?
I think this will be a good hat. Or mittens. I don't know. Or socks.
Yeah, yeah. Keep going.
I know. So anyway, I really liked this. Again, it was just really fun because I went to their site and I'm just like, I love
And you heard about her on Instagram?
Instagram. I think she's one of the dyers I subscribe to. And I think she might have posted this color.
You mean follow. It's on Instagram, you follow people.
Whatever. Anyway.
Grandpa.
So again, it's
Boomer.
Sister Ananse, Ananse yarn. Ananse, maybe?
Ananse? Oh, yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah. But anyway, it's really, really cool stuff. So that was fun. Then, also, I was working on Instagram and saw this. We've actually talked...
So you need to step back because bees are my thing.
Well, maybe you... Are they?
You know I want to keep bees.
Oh, yeah, okay, fine. Well, maybe this can be for you then. So this is...
Really? For me? Sorry, keep going.
What's mine is yours, what yours is mine. So this is by...
what's yours is mine, and what's mine is mine.
So this is by Bags by Awesome Granny. I think we featured her on one of our cowls a while ago.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So I really like her. Bruce and Darlene York. The
bagsbyawesomegranny.etsy.com. Of course, this will all be in the
So anyway, I just really, really, really liked this one. I think this was January, and I'm like, I need something in my life that feels spring.
Yeah.
So with the bees and the flowers and that pattern, so I really liked it. So this is, I guess it's yours now. Would you like it, baby?
No.
Merry Christmas.
No, I can't. Yeah, I can't. Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah, and the inside's
I've
this
never
yellow
noticed that.
polka
I didn't
dots.
look at
Yeah,
it. That's amazing. Oh, I couldn't.
It's yours, baby.
I couldn't.
Anyway,
I shouldn't.
You shouldn't, but you are. And then finally, I am on another Trilogy Yarns yarn club, and this is the Pride and Prejudice Yarn Club. And I told Nancy that she's evil for doing that because I couldn't.
It's like right up your alley.
Right, I couldn't not subscribe to it. I think I've shown it before, but this is the most recent one, and it is MCN Merino Cashmere Nylon, and this colorway is called "To be fond of dancing was a certain step towards falling in love," which is a quote from Pride and Prejudice. But I really like this. And
so can you do one pair of cabin socks with one skein of yarn?
Mm-hmm. I think so. So
because I wouldn't mind doing a pair of the cabin socks.
Yeah,
we've got 5 million skeins of DK, but I
know. I love I really enjoyed those. So, and I also, one of the skeins came with this cute little alpaca stitch holder. But I was thinking, like, all right, this is why I got them all out. So one of my next projects is to do like an Icelandic sweater, and I feel yoked, and I feel like this would be maybe a really cool base color for it. This deep purple. I don't know.
The thing that's difficult
is you need tonals almost, right?
Yeah.
Maybe if I could just get her to dye.
I mean, I think there are people. I mean, obviously, people have done.
Right.
I just think you're going to lose the definition of, especially something as complicated as an Icelandic yoked sweater.
Yeah. I had a dream.
I mean,
because this could almost be a fade.
Well, 2 separate fades.
Yeah. Anyway.
Stop trying to make
colors happen. I just want it all to work together.
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
But I really like all this stuff, and I feel it fits together in its own idiom. But this is, I think, I don't know if I'd shown this before, the Pemberley, but I really, really like this one too. So, anyway, more yarn. So those are the acquisitions.
Awesome.
So yeah, some for me, some for you.
Awesome.
So that's our knitting content.
Yes.
Do you want to talk Betty Ann or Angela Lansbury?
Well, I just wanted to provide people with information because we all know that Any one of us could run into Betty Ann at any given time.
Who is Betty Ann?
Okay, you can't do
Who is
this.
Betty Ann?
You can't do this, okay? If I'm going to get through this.
Okay.
So for those of you that don't know, Betty Ann is my mother. She, as she's wont to say, she brought me into this world, she can take me out. We've talked a lot about her on the podcast because she's like, how would you describe her? She's like a disease that you enjoy having. It's like, you should get rid of it and you should take your medicine, but it's got a really like cool side effect of providing you with entertainment.
Huh. I can't even think of a disease that you would enjoy having. I'm really enjoying mumps right now.
So she had moved in with my brother and his wife to take care of the new baby, Santiago. And she stayed with them for a few months and kind of got them on their feet. And then nobody wanted her to be around the baby for too long because these are formative years.
Yes.
And we don't want the baby, like grabbing, trucks and skateboarding behind it or wearing sparkly tube tops or whatever. Who knows what horrible thing she's going to implant in that baby.
Right.
So I, being the good and dutiful son that I am, went to Ohio to pick her up, and I've been telling people that she gets a little nervous with flying, but in actuality, nobody in their right mind. I mean, legally, I'm not allowed to let her fly on her own. The TSA has told me.
She's like an unaccompanied minor, right?
She is not allowed to travel without an escort.
I believe minder is the word you're looking for.
This is one of the requirements that that we've come to an agreement on. TSA, me working with the TSA. So I went and picked her up, and we traveled, and just some of the things that one goes through when traveling with Betty Ann is always interesting. So first of all, she takes her masks, and when I'm not watching, she'll go into the bathroom and she takes her Sharpie and she writes dirty words and stuff on her mask.
Yeah.
So I have to keep a stash of all these extra masks.
Right. So you don't get. Yeah. Right.
I mean, they're offensive. So she writes dirty words all over her masks. And so I'm like, oh, great, Betty Ann, let's get another mask.
All right.
And so then she also does this thing where she will only eat off the menu items, but I don't know how she finds out about them, but she'll get hot dogs from Cinnabon. How does she know that they have hot dogs at Cinnabon?
Well, do you think it's that she looks them up and finds them, or she just tries?
Oh, like a scatter shot.
Like a scatter shot, I'm gonna go Sbarro's and ask for a chicken salad.
Right.
Right.
It was the so we got hot dogs at Sbarro. I mean at
Cinnabon.
Cinnabon. And then we got.
Did they have icing on them?
No, but they were cinnamon on the cinnamon. The buns were made out of the cinnamon dough.
That sounds good.
It was weird.
Okay.
It was weird. And she'll go and she'll only buy the expired chips at the newsstand. She won't eat them if they're not expired. It's very weird. So then we get through that, moment. Minefield.
Food court.
She's got her non-curse word mask on. We get onto the plane, and she keeps hitting the button, the call button for the flight attendant. And so I don't know if I've ever told you this story, but when I was, before you and I were together, it was she knew. It's she had gaydar, and she knew who were the gay flight attendants, and she would try to set me up with them during the flight.
Oh, yeah.
Which is horrifying, because then you're in this little metal tube and you can't escape, and you're like, Mom, that's great, but he's not my type, or I might not be his type.
Right.
And she's sitting there trying to make something happen that's not going to happen.
Right.
So she's hitting the, and of course, somehow she gets, a handful. She sweet talks the flight attendants and gets handfuls of those little liquor bottles. Mm-hmm. So she's drunk off her butt. And she's hitting the call button and, like, making the flight attendants come over and, like, chatting them up. And
making friends.
Making friends.
She's making a memory.
She's making a memory. Sorry, I'm trying to get through this. And then she... This
is literally, I mean, the job is one thing. This is actually what caused the anxiety tailspin.
That's true. That's true. That's true. It's like I spend... For every... day that I spend with her, I have a week
of recovery.
Yeah,
and travel is like double that. It's like overtime.
Right.
Time and a half.
Right. I love her very much.
Right.
I mean, she's my mom.
She's a lot, though.
She's a lot. So we finally land in Atlanta, and she's convinced herself that the baggage, once it comes out onto the conveyor belt, it only goes around once.
Right, and then it gets eaten.
And then and then they take it and sell it.
Ah, okay.
So she has a plain black bag, but like every plain black bag that comes out, she yanks it off the conveyor. Now it could be like 10 times the size of her bag.
Right.
She yanks it off the conveyor, and then she starts going through the bag to see if it's her stuff.
Well, does she ever put like charms on the outside, like those little like scarves and stuff?
Yeah, she puts little ribbons and voodoo dolls and like creepy stuff. Mm-hmm. But and then, like, if somebody takes a bag off the conveyor belt that
might be hers,
she runs over and makes them prove to her that it's not her bag.
Gotcha.
So, we finally... So I told her to sit down and that I would take care of the bag this time. Don't let it go back in or don't let it go around because they'll sell
my stuff, yeah.
They'll sell my stuff. And I'm thinking, who's going to want her sparkly tube tops and all the other crap that's in her bag? So anyway, we made it home. She's fine. She's back at her house, and Santiago seems
okay,
less of the worse for wear. So,
right.
So we had a pretty good time though.
Good. Yeah.
So.
Luckily, she doesn't travel very often.
No.
I mean, legally, she can't.
Legally, she can't.
I think the TSA has done a limit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was... Well, I'm glad, you did that twice.
Right. I did that in the fall.
I mean, that's a lot to do.
Yeah.
You're a good son.
Yep, that's what they tell me. All right, should we talk about Angela Lansbury?
We shall.
All right. So for those of you that don't know, for some reason, which we still haven't figured out, we are trying to watch every Angela Lansbury movie ever made. Mm-hmm. And we've gotten... We counted. I forgot to put that list together.
Yeah. No, we got it.
I forgot to put it online.
Oh.
I was going to put it all together and link to it for people. But we've watched, like 20 or 30 at this point?
Yeah.
And so the last one that we watched was Mrs. Claus, or Mrs. Santa Claus.
Yeah. As if you'd be confused.
Right, well, yeah. But the name of the movie is Mrs. Santa Claus. And we watched it on New Year's.
Right.
It's now February 21st or whatever it is.
Right. So our memories are a little hazy. So they're, So what do you remember about this movie? So what do we ask about? Like.
Oh right, we have our list of things.
So I think she had first billing.
Yeah.
She had top billing.
Because it was made in the 90s?
Yeah.
Early 2000s?
Yeah, something like that.
Drawing a blank now.
Yeah. Was she playing the same age as...
Well, Mrs. Claus
is immortal. So, I mean,
she's thousands of years old.
So she actually... So she was playing someone older than herself.
Yes. Yes, she was.
Nothing bad happened to cats. And I don't believe there was any knitting or fiber arts.
No. Not that I remember.
So, in a nutshell...
Was there... see, this is bad. I'm not going to remember anything. I remember there was the, like... She kept, like, dumping her problems on everybody.
No, she was solving people's problems.
Really?
I think so.
She found an apartment and.
Oh yeah. No, she basically okay.
Then she gave all of her reindeer to this guy to take care of.
That's true.
Like she kept dumping her problems. Like, oh, it'll be fine.
She had a lot of privilege.
Yes.
So basically, Mrs. Santa Claus is a story of Mrs. Santa Claus, who is married to Mr. Santa Claus, and
he's kind of a dick.
Well, he doesn't appreciate her, right? Yeah. And I forget who is Mr. Santa Claus. It's like Walter Matthau or something like that. Yeah, it's one of those
character actors.
Charles Durning or someone like that. And so it's like Christmas time, and like he's busy with the naughty and nice list, and she's trying to help out, but he's like, just bring me some cocoa.
Right.
So
he's very dismissive of her efforts. Help.
So she has this idea that she can shorten his route, and so she just takes the reindeer out for a spin to test it out, and I don't know what happens.
Like went through a portal or something.
Well, I don't think the reindeer did it get shot. It was a storm, maybe.
I don't remember.
I don't remember. Somehow she crash lands on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, and this is like 1900s. So, and
it's a musical.
And it's a musical, yeah. Jerry Herman wrote some songs for it.
That's right. Who, for those who don't know, is famous for
Hello, Dolly, Mame, La Cage aux Folles.
There you go. Fall.
Wait, I think you were at Hello, Dolly. Yes, he did.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Todd will correct us if you're wrong.
Oh, and like Bob Mackie did the costumes.
Oh, that's right.
So like literally Angela Lansbury was doing this TV movie, and she just went through Rolodex and like picked out people like, hey, I'm in this movie. Jerry Herman, write me some songs. So she lands in the Lower East Side, and she somehow, like everyone in New York, like finds an apartment and a place to live and a job in like a day and a half.
Just like everybody else in New York.
Right.
And a place to keep her reindeer.
And a place to keep her reindeer, right. This very nice Italian boy with a livery stable. Is Tim Curry in it?
No.
Who was the evil toy person?
It wasn't Tim Curry. I don't think.
Or was Terrence? It was It might have been Terrence Mann.
Terrence Trent D'Arby.
No, I think it was Terrence Mann. I think the guy who played Javert in Les Mis.
Yes, that's who it was.
Who looks like Tim Curry.
That's what it was.
On a bad day.
Yeah.
Or Tim Curry looks like him on a bad day. They look similar-ish.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So there's a whole subplot about a toy factory with children working in it, and the issue isn't child labor. The issue is they're not unionized, so she basically unionizes the toy factory.
But then they all lose their jobs.
And they lose their jobs. It's a very strange movie. I mean,
and the music is so forgettable.
Yeah,
it is so forgettable.
It is, and Jerry Herman usually writes really catchy stuff, but it was. I think they were in the bottom of this trunk.
Yeah.
And he's like, let's use this for Christmas.
Yeah.
But it's still a cute movie. Like, I mean, I think
next Christmas.
It's
worth watching next Christmas.
Yeah. I mean, I think, I was thinking about this. Like, how many Christmas movies are about a married woman who lives in the country, goes to the city, doesn't fall in love, does union organizing for kids, solves the Lower East Side's problems, and comes back and saves her.
Well, and isn't there like she makes the Jewish people and the Italian people, she makes everybody get along too, and they have a parade or something?
No.
Isn't there something to do with
like women's votes?
Women's suffrage?
Yeah, there's a suffrage. She organized a suffrage march.
That's right. Yeah.
It's a little kooky, and it's short. It's like under
but it's
90.
Angela Lansbury. She can do anything.
Exactly, and she does the final. Like Mrs. Claus goes to the Lower East Side box social. Outfit is pretty good.
Oh yeah. Her final big ball.
She looks like either Mrs. Claus or like she
runs the Red Queen.
The Red Queen, or she runs the most fancy bordello on the Bowery.
So and then she gets home and Mr. Santa Claus realizes that he
Yeah,
has been taking it.
I don't know if he sings a song about missing her. I can't remember.
Yeah,
that's
we
how.
should have taken better notes.
Yeah, So anyway,
taking her for granted.
Taking her for granted, and he's like, I want to have a real partnership.
Right.
So I mean, I feel like for Christmas movies, it kind of breaks the mold.
Yeah.
It's very unusual. And
there is a woman who does a YouTube show,
pushing up
roses.
Yeah,
I think that's it. I'll put the link in the description. She's so hilarious. She
recaps Murder, She Wrote episodes.
That's not all she does, but a lot of what she does is recaps Murder, She Wrote, and she might have had something to do with. Or did we start watching her after we started watching? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
She does a much better review of the movie than we do, because that's her whole thing, is reviewing TV.
And she movies. Probably reviewed the movie like at least a week after she watched it.
Right. Right. Although I think she liked it better. I know she liked the music better than we did.
Yeah.
Because it was fine, but it was not like. I'm not like, singing the Unionize the Kids songs or anything. It's not like the Newsies, Seize the Day or whatever.
Another Unions for Kids musical.
Right.
Again, the problem is...
Okay, that's what we should do next, is watch every movie where kids are unionizing.
I think we might have already watched them. I'm trying to think. If they're musicals, I think we've done the whole list.
Musicals about kids unionizing.
Unlike musicals with Nazis in them, which is a evergreen.
Right. The producers.
Speaking of which, I was... when I was binding off my thing, I watched the first 45 minutes of The Sound of Music, which is
the music, The Sound of Music, producers.
Yeah, Cabaret.
Oh, Cabaret! Gosh, that's weird. Have we talked about that before? Musicals that have Nazis in them?
No, but it was a big thing when I was in college. We had a whole thing of like all the best musicals have Nazis in them.
Oh, I see. Yeah, and we discovered that all drag queen shade culture
comes from the nuns and How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria. I was like, it's like funny.
The shade of SweetTeaNoShade is what we're talking about.
Right.
All comes from nuns and The Sound of Music.
I was like watching, I'm like niddling. I'm like, oh my God, she called her a demon.
She calls Maria a demon.
Sister Berta, head of novitiates, who is a stone cold biatch. She's just like, and there's a conversation. So okay, we're on to a duller topic, but so like I've watched
Angela Lansbury's in That Sound of Music, right?
I mean, she should be. So there's a little thing like, so I was watching this morning, and like The Sound of Music, like I listened to that record growing up all the time, like many people. It's a formative part of my childhood. There's a thing where like Julie Andrews, I mean, Maria's talking to the Mother Superior. She's like, every time I have a disagreement with Sister Berta, I have to kiss the floor. And so now I just kiss the floor whenever she comes by. I'm like, what is going on? Like, get out of the convent. Like, you... And she's like, oh, Von Trapp is so strict. I'm like, you have...
At least he's not calling you a demon.
A demon, right.
Trying to exorcise you.
Right. And you're just like, oh my God. How did she say so plucky that basically ritualized nun abuse? But yeah, I might watch the rest of The Sound of Music today, because like I haven't seen it. Well, that's not true. I think I watched it with my sister and her family a couple Christmases ago.
Oh, yeah, you did, because well, it wasn't Christmas. It was sometime because you called me.
Right, and it was like funny because we were watching The Sound of Music with me, and my sister has 3 boys who are like, I think they were like 15 and 12 at the time.
And they're literally like wanting to die.
Well, I think Aaron and Patrick liked it more than Luke did.
Imagine that, the 16-year-old.
I feel like if you're not introduced to The Sound of Music when you're very young, you don't get off.
My exposure to The Sound of Music was my grandparents, they were probably in their 60s.
Right.
And I was a little kid. My brother and I were little, and they had a party at their house, or some kind of get-together, probably with people from the church or whatever. And my grandfather said, "The Sound of Music is coming on. I want you to sit down and watch this movie."
Were you by yourself? Did they put you in the back room?
Yeah.
Okay.
So my grandfather never said stuff like that. So we were just kind of like, it was very like, what's going on? So we sat down, and my brother and I didn't move for 4 hours or however long that movie is, and it was like, he's like, this is my favorite movie. You have to sit and watch it. And so we were like, so yeah, ever since then I've loved that movie.
Yeah, I remember. So I think I saw it. It was like one of the first movies I ever saw. Because I remember we went to go see it in the movie theaters.
Not in the original release.
Not in the original release. That came out a few years before I was born. But like one of the re-releases, right? Yeah. So back when they used to re-release movies before VCRs and whatever. And we're going to see it, and I have the memory of them in the Abby and the Nazis are coming with the flashlights and being really, really unhappy at that point.
Yeah.
Which is good. Like that shows that I'm a good person. I do not want the Von Trapp children to be caught by the Nazis.
You'll never be one of them.
Right. And I think also, like many gay boys, like Rolf became my, perfect guy.
I was way too young to
I mean, as I grew up, but like he's like the first like romantic lead I've ever seen in a movie ever. And then you realize like, oh, he's awful.
Yeah.
He's awful.
He's a Nazi.
Right. And going back, I'm like, I remember watching it and being like, oh, Baroness Schrader's the worst. And now she's like the person I'm like going for the whole time. I'm like, oh yeah, she's making good choices. she's like fine. You don't love.
She's got the gay best friend.
She's got a
Uncle
gay
Max.
best friend. She wears the best gowns. Like a little poof on the side. Yeah. I mean, she's actually like my. But I remember watching it.
She walks away from this count.
Right.
He's a count, right? Count Von Trapp? No, he's
Captain.
Yeah, but anyway, he's got land and a castle. He's got a
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful house, which is a composite of several other houses.
But the point is, she just walks away from that because
she's like, look, there's this amazing McSweeney's article, which is, I regret to inform you about the cancellation of my engagement to Captain Von Trapp. And it's the letter that she writes to all of her friends, letting her know the engagement's off. And it's like, so he's going with an ex-nun who makes her own clothes out of curtains. I'll leave it at that. But I remember watching like that first scene right before intermission where she leaves the thing and like Baroness Schrader's like, oh, he loves you, and like she freaks out Maria. I remember being like, you are the worst person ever. You need to die.
Oh yeah.
And like,
oh yeah.
But now as a grown up,
as an adult, you realize
I'm all about
she's a normal person.
I'm about Sister Bert and Baroness von Schrader.
and yeah. So.
But yeah.
All right. So what's our next Angela Lansbury?
I don't have one prepped. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay. All right, John, what's our next Angela Lansbury movie?
Our next Angela Lansbury movie is Nanny McPhee.
Which I've heard a lot about, but I don't think I've seen it.
It stars Emma Thompson.
Wait, was there more than one Nanny McPhee?
Yes, there was a sequel.
No, I mean, was there, like, because this one was made in 2000, what?
5, yeah.
Was there one in the 80s?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I mean, I'm assuming it's
maybe I'm thinking of the Apple Dumpling Gang.
Could be. So there's a Nanny McPhee Returns, which does not have Angela Lansbury in it.
Okay.
So, I don't know much about it. I just know
it's a kids movie.
There's 7 children.
It's a kids movie, right?
It's a children's movie. Emma Thompson is a nanny who uses magic. So, and Colin Firth is the Captain Von Trapp character.
It's a dark and witty fable,
There we go. So basically, it is The Sound of Music.
Yeah.
But with magic. And Colin Firth.
The children have managed to drive away 17 previous nannies.
Interesting.
Huh. Cool.
Okay.
Right, well, we'll do that because that's one.
That seems fun.
Most people can probably get the access to that.
Yes,
one.
absolutely. It's on Amazon Prime or whatever. So it's a non-obscure movie, and yeah.
Cool. Don't rub your microphone. All right. Well, thank you everybody for watching.
It's good to be back.
It's good to be back. And we will see you again soon.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Bye.